I have amassed a lovely little mini stash of knit fabrics that are just begging to be made into some cozy layers for cooler weather. Hello and welcome back to the June May channel. My name is Paula Jean, and if I'm being honest, I am actually really looking forward to kind of closing out this year and really looking forward to next year. So I was looking through my stash a little bit and kind of pre-planning some of my sewing that I really want to do. And so I'm going to share with you some of the fabrics I have and also some possibilities for patterns I have to coordinate with them. So let's just dive right in. The first fabric I have is this beautiful slate Modal jersey. Now, if you watched my sewing roundup videos a few months ago, you will know how much I sang the praises of this fabric. I just love it. And so I decided to spend the rest of a gift certificate at Surge Fabrics, where this fabric is, and see what other colors they had. And I really love this slate color. And when I saw it on their website, it's a gray, but it looked like it had like just a little bit of a teal tinge to it, which I'm technically an autumn, and so I'm not supposed to wear like grays and blacks and things like that. But, you know, I like what I like. And I know things on websites don't always show up color-wise the same as they are in person, but when I bought the cayenne or paprika, I always mix up the name of those two color names. So the one that I made up in the summer, that one was pretty true to what I saw online, so I decided to take a chance on this, and it is the same color as it was online. So I'm really, really happy with that. It matches one of the shades I have weird multicolored eyes, and it kind of brings out the shade of one of those colors that I have going on. So I think it's going to work just fine. So I already know that I love the fabric and how it washes up. And my plan is to make a Brynn cardigan out of this fabric. So this pattern is from True Bias, and there are several views of it. You have a choice of a hip length or a cropped version, or a long dress version. And despite being a very pretty simple pattern, it's kind of a 90s style, like basic V-neck cardigan button up. And there are a lot of pieces because the sleeveless and sleeved versions have different pattern pieces, because the sleeveless version kind of cuts in on the shoulder and it is a little bit deeper. And it also has bands that get sewn on it. So it's got a different armhole shape. So those have their own pieces. Also, the regular cardigan and dress length have different pieces, because on the dress it has a center back seam in the backs for some shaping, which I really appreciate because I usually have to do a sway back adjustment or some back shaping adjustment, and I just find that a lot easier to do with a center back seam. I'm gonna do the long sleeve, long length version. I think I'm gonna get a lot of wear out of this because I can wear it buttoned all the way up as a dress, or I can have it as like an unbuttoned or partially buttoned long cardigan and wear it layered over a tank top, a turtleneck, something like that. So I think it's going to be a bit of a workhorse of a pattern. Okay, the sun started blowing me out there at the end of that last section, so just tried to adjust that. Next up is a project that I am really excited about. The fabric is also from Surge Fabrics, and it is the Sibley sweater knit. This is a rayon blend, lightweight, super gushy, very, very soft sweater knit. And this color is listed on their website as hunter green, but again, I chose to trust the photo, which looked more teal, and lo and behold, in person, it is more teal. So I'm really happy with that. I've washed and dried this. I've done that with all of my fabrics. Everything came out really well. I think when this is made up into a garment, I will probably wash it inside out, and probably not with very many other pieces and on a delicate cycle, because I can foresee this kind of pilling over time. I'll kind of keep an eye on that, but the other properties of the fabric are just so fabulous. So the two dresses that I was thinking about, one is the the Viki Sew's Hazel dress. It's got this big, luxurious off-the-shoulder collar, and it just looks so cozy. And so I was thinking of that one, but I think I'm actually going to get more wear out of the Viki Sew's Andie dress. It's got a placket and collar, kind of reminiscent of like rugby sweaters. That style has been really popular the last like year and a half or so. What it looks like on the cover is that this is kind of a relaxed fit, but not really oversized and also not fitted, which is exactly what I'm looking for in a dress like this. It also has extended long sleeves that have thumb holes in them, which is a feature that I always really love. I do have a couple of items in my wardrobe that have that feature. I do also tend to roll up my sleeves a lot though, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the full version because it just makes it the coziest possible. And then if I end up just pushing my sleeves up all the time, I can always shorten the sleeves. But I'm going to go with how the design is made to start off with. Viki Sew's patterns have some pros and a few cons to them. I find that the drafting and the specificity of the instructions are excellent. They also have a lot of sew-alongs over on their YouTube channel, and they are not in English, but they are subtitled in English, and you can always go into your YouTube settings for subtitles and have them translated into your preferred language. But I really do like the instructions, and it's saying a lot coming from me because a lot of the instructions come with photos on this one, and I prefer line drawings, but I find the photos to be really, really good. And even though the YouTube instruction is not in English, they are generally filmed really well, so you can get a lot of tips and instruction there. Her patterns, most of them anyway, only come in single sizes. So if you're somebody that grades between sizes, that can be an issue. On the other hand, she's drafted for 4 different heights. And so you pick the height that corresponds to your height or whoever you're sewing for. So if you're somebody whose adjustments tend to be in the vertical range, like if you're petite or you're tall, that's maybe something that you're not going to have to do if you choose her patterns. So that can be a pro side of that. But I am very, very excited to make this up. My husband and I are going up to Portland to spend the holidays with my family, and I really, really wish I was going to have time to sew this up before we go up there because I know it's going to be kind of cold and rainy. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that, but it'll just be waiting for me to do when I get back. Okay, the sun just has it in for me today. It just keeps blowing out at the end of every section that I film. So moving on, the next fabric I have is this really lovely, it's a bamboo rib knit. I've actually got 2 rib knits, and I got both of these from Lyrical Fabrics. This was another balance of a gift certificate that I spent. I don't think that Lyrical Fabrics has any of these rib knits that I got anymore, because I actually got these a couple of months ago. And she tends to get a lot of dead stock, so stocks are sometimes limited, but she always has an extensive range of rib knits available. So I'll just link to her rib knits page. So even if there aren't these ones, I'm sure you can take a look through those and find something that you like. This one is super lightweight, and it's this beautiful olive color, and it's got these tiny, tiny little pinstripes in it. They're interesting, but not like a big, bold stripe. Originally, I thought I wanted to do a dress version of the Pattern Scout Brigit tee. Casey over on her channel has done dress versions of this pattern, and I always think they look really nice. I wear my wearable muslin that I made of the pattern all the time, and I've been wanting to make more versions of it. But because this is so lightweight, I'm a little bit worried about, just it being, because it's, it's sort of body conscious, and I would always have to wear something underneath of it. And I'm also concerned that even though there is the way that the top is constructed, it's lined, so it does double up on the fabric, and you do use some Wonder Tape on the neckline as you're sewing it so it doesn't get all stretched out and wavy. But I'm still worried that over time and with washing, the drapiness of it would just cause that to collapse, and with that square neck top, you want that to be nice and crisp for it to look right. So I'm gonna have to use another fabric to do that. But for this one, I think I'm going to make another Leia top by Piar. I had tested this pattern for her last year, whenever she came out with it, and I really, really like it. I did a long sleeveless sweater knit version of it that I wore to death. It's still alive and in my wardrobe. I also reworked the muslin that I had made while I was testing it. And even though that was a lightweight fabric, it works actually really, really well. So I think this fabric is a comparable weight. So I think it's going to look really nice with that gathered asymmetrical neckline. What I am going to do though is I'm going to change up the sleeve on it. So I have used the sleeve of the Somerset tee by Maven Patterns before. I had upcycled a sweater dress into a top and I used just the sleeve from this pattern. I actually haven't made up this whole pattern yet. I've only used the sleeve, but I do love that one. That part of the pattern. And I think those gathers and the long cuff is going to look really, really pretty with the gathers on the neckline. And so I think that's going to make a really nice top that I'll be able to wear across several seasons just because this is so lightweight. So I'll be able to layer it when the weather is cool and probably wear it up until the end of spring, until it starts getting really, really hot. So very excited for that. And then the other rib knit I got also from Lyrical Fabrics is just a plain black, also a bamboo rib knit, but this one is much more substantial. It's got great stretch and recovery and is opaque even when stretched. So the dress that I wanted to make out of this is the Lydia Naomi Celeste frock. This is a mock neck long sleeve dress that has two bodice versions. One has a shaped underbust seam and the other one has kind of a peekaboo feature on the front chest. But both mock necks, and they have this, she has this beautiful skirt. She calls this her Space Warrior princess dress, which I'm totally on board with that description. But it's got this really lovely kind of sweeping skirt, and the way that it's sewn is really neat because it's basically kind of a circle skirt that attaches to this extension on the front lower bodice panel. So there's this straight panel in between, so you have these seam lines that curve down in the front. I only got a couple of yards of this and she doesn't have any more available. And I'm not actually able to fit on that back kind of 3/4 circle skirt piece onto the fabric. But I'm not ready to let go of the idea of this dress yet because I just think it's going to be so cool. I might try to see if I can wrap my head around how to take out some of the flare of the skirt and make it a little bit of a straighter skirt. But if that starts to break my brain, then I think what I'm going to do is a little mashup of the top of style A that has that shaped underbust seam, and then for the skirt part do my tried and true Staystitch Pattern Company Sofia Sweetheart dress. I made the sleeveless dress version of this in my Green Makes series, and I really love the fit of it. That is also made in a very substantial rib knit, and I really love that dress. And I also think that the curved waistband, front waistband of this will kind of echo the same idea as the original design on the Celeste frock, and with the curved underbust seam, I think that could maybe look really cool. It's also meant to be sewn on a serger with the seams exposed. And I briefly had the idea of doing like a different color stitching for every seam. And then I realized that I would have to change all the serger threads on my serger every time I did that, and none of us likes doing that. So I thought better of that. I might look to see if there's a variegated thread that I like all the colors of and do that. But I also really like the idea of just doing like a straight cream or a tan. I think that could look kind of really a little more sophisticated and multi-purpose. So I'll do some experiments and see how I feel about that. And the last knit fabric I have for you is one that I got in the Joann remnant bin. I find so many things there and they're always really cheap. I got this one for $3. So this is a rayon blend jacquard knit in this really cool, huge houndstooth pattern. And because it's a jacquard, it can be used on either side. So there's this side that is predominantly cream with this kind of bluish slate color, and then the other side is just the opposite of that. So you can use either side of it for your project. And I only have a yard of it because it was a remnant, but I think I want to make like a sweater vest type of garment with this. And I've got several pattern options available to me. First would be just the cropped sleeveless version of the Brynn cardigan, and the blue color that's in here almost exactly matches the Modal Jersey. Not exactly, but enough that you could wear them together. And so that could be kind of fun as just like a layering duo. The other option that I have is the Punch Pullover by Juliana Martejevs. I made this was it last year or something? I have a short on here and a reel on my Instagram page. I took a long kind of frumpy looking cardigan and I actually upcycled it into this really cool sweater vest. And I have worn that thing so much. So I would love to make another one, and I think it would look really cool in this fabric. The last option that I have, well, the last that I have like in my stash, I'm sure there's lots of sweater vest patterns out there, but the edge fold top by Misusu patterns could also look really cool in this. I was a pattern tester for this and I have a video about it on my channel. And where this could be really cool is I could play with that, with the two sides of the jacquard. And because it has a side panel, I could maybe reverse the fabric and use it for that. And this is another top that I wear quite a lot. I wear the muslin that I did, which I had done out of some sweatshirting materials and stuff. And I wear that actually quite a lot. And I've also worn my sparkly 80s inspired version as well. So those are the options for the jacquard houndstooth. So I'm very, very excited to get started on all of these projects. I don't know if I'm gonna get another video out before the end of the year. I'm gonna try to do something between Christmas and New Year's, but we'll see what happens. So in the meantime, let me know in the comments what you think of these projects, if you think I've made good or terrible pattern choices for these. And if you are celebrating any holidays, please have a lovely and safe and healthy holiday season, and rest well, eat well, and have fun. And I will see you in the next one.